Hi guys, and welcome back to Manny Centric. We are here today doing a quick look for the Glitter Girlz October collab called Autumn Fantasy. Now, I've got a few different steps we're going to go through for this Manny, but we're going to go ahead and start with 2 coats of Goat Lacquer's Wasp. Now, I've done like a little review and swatch of this nail polish because I really was charmed by it. But we're going to go ahead and get straight into this Manny because, like I said, there's a few different steps and I don't want you guys to miss any of that. We're going to go ahead and zoom in and start painting the nails. And don't worry, I will not make you guys sit through me painting all of my nails. Just one. And I have already put on my peel off base coat just because I am prone to boo-boos and mistakes. And I also put on a little balm on my cuticles just because they're always super duper dry. So I'm going to go ahead and finish doing the other nails in 2 coats and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we are back. All fingers are coated twice in Wasp and the polish is dried to the touch. We're going to move on to our second part of this. That's going to be our stamping part. I got this plate from Born Pretty and I like it because of the layering possibilities, because I'm not the best at reverse stamping to add color to my manicure. And then we're going to start in with Maniology's Sequoia, which is from the... Sorry, I already forgot the name of the collection. It was part of the Fall Layers bundle, but let me just go ahead and pull that up so that I can make sure that I've got the right thing for you guys. And in the meantime, 2 things that you want to make sure that you're doing when you're stamping. Don't forget your liquid latex or something to protect your cuticles. They're precious and they do dry out easily. If you're allergic to latex, I'm going to go ahead and link a video down below for you guys by someone who makes their own. So you'll be able to go ahead and still have something to take care of your cuticles, but minus worrying about the latex allergy. And then the second thing is that you do want to make sure that you have all of the things that you're going to be using already within reach and nearby, because at this point you're going to be doing things quickly. You don't want to let too much time pass because stamping polish does dry quicker than regular polish. Don't know why. Could be because it's thicker. Not sure. But this is from the Night Forest collection. So we'll be using like all 3 of the colors from Night Forest. So we're going to go in first with this one. And I just want to make sure that I've got everything. I've got my scraper. I've got my cotton ball soaked in acetone. And I've got my stamper. So we're good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a little coat right here on the trees with the lines. I found that I really like those. But first, let me take the cap off of my stamper. I keep that on just to, you know, keep too much dust and debris from getting on it, because that's a thing for me. And then I'm not going to go all the way down because it's not necessary. And swipe and stamp. And I just use like a rolling motion to get that on there. Now here's the part that I always forget is if you like to pose your nails with your hand closed, you're going to want to make sure that you stamp it like that. And I think I waited a little too long for that one before I stamped it on. So I got a little bit to pick up, but I'm going to go ahead and stamp it again. And you'll see why there's room for error with this one. But if you like to pose with your hands open and your palm down, then you would just stamp it like you normally would if you were looking at it. And I'm trying to do this quickly because I just put dinner on. And then we're going to look at that middle finger. And we're going to go ahead and stamp it in. Now I'll come back to that forefinger. I have not decided yet if I'm going to do this for all of my fingers, including pinky and thumb, because I usually like to leave those bare just so that you can get to see the gorgeousness of the color that I'm using for the base. Also, I'm practicing not wasting as much of my stamping polish just because, hey, this stuff isn't cheap. Like, unless you're getting, like, giveaways, like, every week from somebody, this stuff does cost money. So, I don't want to use it up also because I tend to use my stamping polishes as nail polishes. So, doing double duty right there. And this one is just for going back on that first finger because I was not totally pleased with the coverage. So now that I've got my branches, I can move on to my leaves, which we're going to use this plate, this part right here of the plate for the leaves, and I'm going to go in with pine because I really like that green. I feel like malachite is a very close match to it, but given that this is a fall theme, I really want to make sure that I'm staying in with the fall theme. So we're going to use pine from the Night Forest in Maniology's collection, which these are still available. They're not sold out. While the fall layering plates, I believe, those were sold out for a while. These are not. And I'm popping off my cotton pad because that one was starting to get pretty messy. And I want to make sure that I'm keeping the plate clean as possible. And again, when I polish, I'm going to curl my fingers in because I always pose with my hand closed as opposed to palm down, hand open. And then as you can see, I'm going to do that right there at the top to create some fall foliage. I'm going to probably do that twice. And then we're going to go in with a little bit of red too, just to make sure that we're giving that illusion of fall leaves changing colors. And there it is again. We're going to do it for the middle finger now. grab those and not let those go to waste. And one more time for the ring finger. And now you've got some fall foliage, but we're going to want to fill that in. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how I add a little red to it. And then I'm going to come back once I have stamped to satisfaction to fill that in with my fall colors. And for the red, I'm going to be using slightly smaller leaves because I don't want them to take over. If you use red, you know that it demands a lot of attention. And I'm using another Maniology stamping nail polish, and this one is Red Hot. I don't remember if it was in a collection, or I think I bought this one individually. And I'm using the smaller leaves for this. And that's just to add a little bit of red. I'm going to go ahead and finish filling that in, and I'll be right back. Now that these are filled to my satisfaction, I'm going to go ahead and use my Beauty Big Bang angled tweezers to go ahead and take my liquid latex off, and we're going to move on to the next set of stamps. So this is what they look like once I filled them in as much as I'd like to. I did leave a little bit of the yellow at the top because I would like to add one more stop. And that's going to be adding in this topper by OPI. And this one, I forgot what it's called, and I think I lost the label too. So I'm just the worst. But I liked it so much that I just had to use it in this mani. Also because when you think fall fantasy, you think a little bit of sparkle is going to be there. Also, this is a Glitter Girls collaboration, so I wanted to add a glitter that would be kind of color appropriate for what I'm doing. So I'm going to add that on to these three. And you know what? I think I'm going to do the other ones as well, so that it's just all over the nail. And that's because I've been seeing a lot of glitter going on over different colors that I normally wouldn't have said, hey, I want to add glitter onto there. And I just really like that effect. So I'm going to do it on all of my nails. And I'm using a light brush stroke because I don't want there to be too much smearing. Like, as you can see, that green smeared right there a little bit. But that was because I went back over it. I got a little ahead of myself. But I was always wondering, why is it everybody else can use any top coat they choose on their nails and not have any issue with smearing? That's because a light brush stroke makes all the difference. And I mean, look how gorgeous and generous that glitter is. Like, there's no stinginess there whatsoever. So we're going to go ahead and zoom out. I'm going to go ahead and do my thumb and my pinky, and then we'll move on to the next step as soon as these nails are dry. And yep, I've pretty much decided I really like the way that looks over wasp. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it by itself over wasp, but it turns out it's a nice effect. And I'm just not doing too much because I'm not trying to go for full coverage. I just want it to accent. And when these are dry, we will be back with the very last step, which is adding on a little bit of something that I personally feel is kind of fantastic. And that's the fall layers plate. I think this one is Cozy Campfire. With that wolf right there, or it might be a fox, but I'm hoping that it will fit on this thumbnail because I really, really want it, and I've wanted it ever since I got this stamping plate. So, be right back. Alright, the glitter is dry, and we have now Dusk from... I've already forgotten the name of the collection again. But I've got it right here, and that's the one that I'm going to be using to create that little, I'm going to call him a wolf because I think he's a wolf, but could be a fox. So I'm not absolutely sure, but I know which color I want to use for. So I've got my stamper ready. I've got my scraper, and I've still got some acetone on my cotton pad, so that will definitely work perfectly. And it's just me making sure that I make my paint job a little bit wide to make sure that it fits all the way in. And it stamped perfectly. Like, if anybody is listening that does Maniology polishes, these are a dream. This is what I've been like waiting for, is some super opaque polishes from Maniology, because they just show up so well. Like, let me see if I can get this totally focused for you guys. Like, that is just magnificent. And that's what I'm looking for. So, I don't know what changed, but I am really feeling these polishes, especially for stamping, because I want them to be able to cover colors. Like, sometimes I don't always pick the best color combinations, and I can still pull it off with a polish that's super opaque when it stamps. Not so much if it's not, because it won't show up well. And I'm thinking that I want to do the same one on my pinky. So I'm going to go ahead and, you know what? I don't know. I think my pinky's a little too small for all that. So I think I don't know. I don't think it's going to fit on my pinky. So unfortunately, close but no cigar on that one. You know what? I think I will, just for fun, do the Sequoia and Pine for this last one. So I'm going to go ahead and paint this part Pine and stamp it on my nail. And that came out pretty good. And then I'm going to go back in and layer that stamp with some Sequoia. I don't know if that's going to work out. You guys are here. I don't know. You know what? I may do Dusk, because I may I think Dusk would work a little bit better because we're also going to be doing like, birds in the distance. And I think that my flora should be green, my fauna should be blue. I know, this is so not like me. I usually just, go with it, wing something. And I am. I'm winging the thumb and the pinky because I wasn't absolutely sure what I wanted to do with them. So I'm going to scrape that and stamp it. And I just need to line it up. That's like literally the hardest part for me. And it didn't do like a super, magnificently contrasting job, but I'm super pleased with both. So I'm going to go ahead and clear coat to seal those in, and then we're going to go ahead and take some pictures. But that's exactly step by step how I created this look. And if you like this nail art and you want to see more, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. If you have already, I'm so happy to have you back, and thank you again for joining me. I'll go ahead and post these up on my Instagram, as well as take a couple in pictures on here. All right, thank you guys again for joining me. Have a great rest of your night.